episode of the Bourbon Buds. This week we were reviewing a shelf staple, Four Roses Single Barrel. Nick, you want to tell us about it?
Sure. So the story of the company itself, it started in the late 1880s, I believe 1888, by Paul Jones. And he fell in love with this country woman who he wrote a proposal to for the grand ball that was coming up. And she said if her answer was yes, she would wear 4 roses on a corsage on her dress. And they went to the ball, and her answer was yes, because she wore those 4 roses. And now for the bourbon itself, well, first let's talk about the yeast part of it. They have different types of yeast for their bourbon. It denotes what type of flavor profiles there are. For example, you have F, which is the floral notes, and then you have the K and the B. Let's see, okay. The bourbon itself, you could not get it between the 1950s and 2002 because it was sold to the Canadians, and for what you got in the States was imposter bourbon, because it was just 2 lightly blended whiskeys. The real stuff was exported over to Japan from between that time all the way up to 2002 when I believe their current parent company bought them out and said, we're bringing it back to the United States. So they brought it back in about 2002, and you couldn't find Four Roses bourbon outside of Kentucky until 2005. So, and they also have 10 recipes. In most commercial bottles, they have the OBSV recipe. Now, what about the other recipes for the other bottles?
Sure. So most of the time, like Nick said, the single barrels try to have the same recipe because you try to be as consistent as possible, even though every single barrel is going to be different. As far as the store picks, most of those are going to be one of the 10 recipes, whether it's the 100 proof ones or the barrel strength ones. The good thing about that is, too, there's 10 recipes, so if there's one you like one store pick, it's not like other brands necessarily where if you get a certain barrel, you won't ever get anything like it again if you really like it. If you get another store pick of that recipe, it'll be similar but not the same. But for me personally, the barrel strengths and the single barrels that they put out are incredible. Very underrated. I mean, they're highly sought after in liquor stores and stuff, and when they are released, in the gift shop as well, but they're, in my opinion, some of the best that are released.
So Zach, are you ready to try some?
Yeah. All right, Nick, what do you think?
It's a very floral scent. A little bit of the sweetness. You can kind of get a lot of rye smell into it, like the spice of it. It's a pretty smooth smell, really, but I like how sweet it is. The floral scent and the sweetness kind of mixed together. It's very nice.
I agree. I mean, you definitely can smell the rye on it. Yeah, definitely the floral as well. It's kind of sweet, like maybe a sugary note, like a brown sugar note. But yeah, it smells very good. You ready to try it?
Yes, sir. Very floral. It's just kind of just like the smell. You can get more of the rye spice, but the spice isn't to where it's overbearing. It's quite smooth for what you would expect. Get a little bit of sweetness in there. What do you think, Zach?
I think it's actually very sweet for a bourbon that typically has a decent amount of rye in its mash bill. You can definitely taste the spice behind it. The bourbon itself has the classic rye flavors and the sweetness. It definitely tastes how it smells. You don't always see that a lot in whiskey. But yeah, the combination of the citrus and the brown sugar and all that, it's very good.
All right. Any final thoughts on this? Well, let's talk about the price. You can get this for about $40 to $50 on retail. I think it's worth that price. You're getting a bottle it's good, and I could be wrong on this, but for a lot of people who are just trying to get into bourbon, this could be one of their first single barrels.
That would be the perfect single barrel for somebody first getting into bourbon. The other good thing is it's good, and you can find it in pretty much any liquor store,
It's everywhere,
especially in Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
And it's affordable. And like Nick said, it's only $40 to $50. So yeah, if you're getting into bourbon or you enjoy Four Roses, I would definitely recommend it.
So with that being said, folks, this will be the end of this week's episode. We hope you enjoyed. If you like it, like the video. Make sure to comment and subscribe, and make sure to click that bell icon so you're notified when we upload. And follow us on our Instagram, which will be linked in the description below. We'll see you guys.